Hello, and welcome to Human Blueprint School of Magic and Metaphysics podcast. And this is not our weekly session. Today we are answering a question. So, on the last video posted, or one of the last videos posted on Discerning Spirits, I think it was, there was a question where someone asked, how do you vet a spirit? And instead of writing the comment, I started thinking so much, I said, I'll just do a quick little podcast on that. Okay, so we're going to jump right into it. How do you vet a spirit? We're going to, first, it needs to make sense that the spirit is there. So we're going to just assume that maybe you are in a session if you are a spiritual practitioner, or maybe you're doing altar work and you have called a spirit, or maybe you are, you just, a relative shows up or something. So, and I will say this, because I have this happen sometimes quite often. If you are a medium or someone who channels, if you ask a question, so you could just be talking to yourself and you ask a question, someone or something may answer that question for you. And then that's when you really want to start to vet to see what is answering that question, why are they giving you that information. So the first thing I would say is, how does what they're saying, does it resonate with you? Listen to how they are speaking and answering when you are asking questions. What are their mannerisms? Does it seem like they may be leaving out information or adding information? Are they talking around the question? And let's go back to, because a lot of vetting, even when it just comes to the 3D world, is our intuition, is spirit-to-spirit contact. It's feeling. So you have to really be in touch with your inner self to know what resonates with you and what does not resonate with you. And I will tell you this, a people pleaser will not do well vetting a spirit. You have to be very authoritative in what you're saying and what you're doing, and you have to have a knowing of that you are in control of the situation and that you are the one that are doing the investigative work. Don't answer so many questions yourself, and don't be pulled into something, into a conversation that you may not should have had. The next thing I would say is, what is the nature of the being? Is it nice? Is it angry? Is it shysty? Is it sweet? Okay, say it's a being that you're supposedly supposed to know, like a grandmother or mother, whatever. What is the nature of your mother's being? What is the nature of that being? Once again, it's about reading. And so when we say we are readers, we don't just mean we are reading tarot. We mean that we are readers. We are readers of energy. We are readers of spirit. We are readers of soul. We are readers of magnetic field. We are readers of the universe. We are readers. So it's about reading the nature of that being. You can see that in little nuances of facial expression. Well, okay, say you can't see the being, because I can see. So sometimes I have to realize, people are working in different levels. So whatever level you're working on, I'm not saying there's high levels or low levels or whatever, but say that you don't have visual, you have auditory. Then there are nuances in voice. Because I work with all the senses and all the clairs or whatever, I can read a spirit as I would a person, because I can see them, I can hear them, so I can watch them, I can feel them, I can kind of, and that being said, I've been fooled too. I've been given information by an entity that actually came and got me, and I have visions that it came and got me and took me somewhere and showed me something, and it was another person that I was telling the vision to, who understood that this being that I was talking to wasn't really nice. It wasn't a nice being, and because I had my guardian spirit with me, it didn't do anything to me. But this is me being, naive as well. So it happens to the best of us sometimes, and that rolls me into one of the videos I did on spiritual protection. Another way that I vet spirits is my spirit team vets the spirit. And you have to be very trustworthy of your spirit team. I did have a mentor and advisor, and I suggest getting mentors and advisors along your path, even if you're a solitary worker, as I am. I had a mentor, an advisor that helped me assemble my team. And one thing that she told me that stuck with me is make sure that the agenda is the same. You know, you could have a wonderful being, entity, strong, honest, loving, angel, fighter being, whatever you want to call it, wants to be on your spirit team. But if it is not working with you, it has its own thing it's doing, it ain't good for your team. So knowing who your spirit team is, understanding who they are, and knowing that you all have the same agenda, I count on my spirit team to kind of let me know that's not, you know, who that spirit may or may not be, that entity may or may not be. Okay, so just like I said in the scenario with the vision, it was my spirit guardian that kept me safe. So even when you don't know what the fuck you're doing, if you are good with your team, they have your back. So just in life, that's in life too. You know, it's about relationships, and those are very important in any world that you are existing in. Next thing I'll talk about is the agenda. What is that entity's agenda? You know, why are they there? Are they offering you deals? Are they saying, okay, so I did have something happen one time where I was going through a health situation myself, and I was working with a client, and she had an uncle that had passed on. This wasn't a really good uncle, but it ended up coming into a reading that I was having with her and trying to make a deal with me to give it something, and it would give me some type of health, healing, or whatever. I immediately said no. And the client said, well, why would you say no if it can help you? I'm like, honey, all help ain't good help. And as far as healing, I'm a healer. And I have the Most High, my goddess spirits, and every other spirit that I deal with on my side. I don't have to worry about making a deal with something. So in that communication, when that spirit came to that reading, I automatically realized it has an agenda. It does not resonate with me what it's saying and what it's doing. There's a reason. And okay, just like other people may come in and tell you half the story, a spirit can come in and tell you half the story too. And so you have to be aware and just kind of keen. And I do talk about the 7 Buddhist, I forget, oh my God, my brain. But there's mentalism, and there's also keen, like being keen in your studying and in your, but also that's just being keen in your environment and wisdom, just kind of being up on shit. That's what's going to save you. And this does come with experience. Being an experienced person, I wouldn't just be walking into the spirit world without a little bit of help, without taking some classes and knowing some things. I was born into it, not in my family. My family didn't practice or anything like that, but my gifts were present when I was young. And that being said, I did a lot of things kind of on my own because I was born in the Bible Belt and did come from a family where this type of thing wasn't explored, even though I think it, you know, I'm not the only gifted one. I'm sure that I'm not. But it's just, I think I'm the only one who has like just stepped full forward into it. That being said, I still had to learn things from other people, and even though this was natural for me, I still had to learn things from other people and get things along the way, and so and get experience and all this other stuff. So that's what a lot of this comes with. So moving into the next thing is, what is its name? Now, I'm going to be honest. Most highly intelligent, wise, authoritative entities either will give you their name or will not. Now, some entities that do not, I would say they don't trust you, and they're not exactly probably the best entities you should be talking to. They probably won't give you their name because a name carries energy and power with it. You can control something with the name. That's why in the Bible, when Moses asks the spirit that he was working with, what's your name? It said, I am what I am. And we translate that into Yahweh. That, and I don't want to get into all of that, but the Most High and Yahweh are not the same spirit. But Yahweh, and I don't know the full name of that entity, didn't give its name because it understood the power in that name, and that so we could have control over you with the name. Now, you do have some entities that will come in, because in the spirit world there are rankings. There are rankings on the, and this is what I want to say, I don't like to call anything good or bad or evil. I think everything has its own agenda, to be honest. If your agenda doesn't match up, then that ain't who you should be rocking with. So when I say ranking, you want to call it demonic, evil, devil, whatever, there are beings that have rankings. They are in organized military type of scenarios. There are courts. There are all these different things. So you may have now also there's the feeling of an entity that has a powerful authority because you can feel it. There are some entities, and I had another advisor that told me about this, and I had actually experienced it, and I experienced it now too. And when something is high ranked, like big shit, like you don't want to really fuck with, comes into an environment, it gets quiet. And I mean quiet. Like, it could be nothing on, no TV, no nothing. It's already quiet. It gets quieter. It's like a mute. And you know that something just stepped into your environment. Something big, something with a high spiritual level, something that is probably something like a watcher or something else. Just something stepped into your environment. So you'll get that feeling as well. Now, you may ask or not ask. I usually, when something like that steps into the environment, you usually just kind of get quiet with everything else. So like, okay, because you can feel it. But there are some times you may want to ask, what is your name, or who are you? And some very high-ranking entities will give you their name, their rank, who they work for, why they're there, and those are the ones that are mission-based, and they're there for specific reasons. Now, you also have some that would say, they call me this, or you can call me this. Just know they ain't giving you their real name. But you can press it, you cannot press it. Once again, all of this is kind of feeling-based and intuition-based as well. You will know when to press it and when not to press it. Because I've been in readings, and like, let's say somebody's uncle show up, and they're like, oh, they call me Uncle Bobby. Well, his name might be Robert. But that doesn't mean he's a lying spirit and trying to trick me. It just means, he's Uncle Bobby. So it kind of depends. The next thing I said is, how do they speak? How do they speak? How are they speaking to you? Are they leaving out information? Are they giving you information? I think I said this before. Do they have a cadence about how they speak? Like, dragons have a certain cadence. And I don't want to mimic it, because some things you just don't give away. And they call it gatekeeping or whatever, but that's why you work with people and you take classes and you do certain things, and you join the school, you do. But anyway, so dragons have a certain cadence that they have. Demons, if you want to call them demons, definitely have a certain way that they speak and how they move, how they do things, where you're alerted to the fact, okay, hold on. Also, they may disguise how they look to you too, if you can see. And this comes with the knowing that you have to know that they're disguising. Because I did have an entity come in on me one time and was talking to me or speaking with me, and I said, well, how do you look? And he showed me this regular form. But inside, I knew, I'm like, wait a minute. And I remember saying, no, how do you really look? And when he said, you really want to see it? And I'm like, yeah. And when he showed me, I'm like, oh. And so that's why I think sometimes you get the phrases, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be scared. I'm not here to, harm you. Because it is some shit you've never seen before. the last thing I'm going to talk about is, what does it know? What is it telling you? Can it be proven? Is it something? Because I know a lot of information, and I've had a lot of, because I channel from, different entities like Arcturians, the Solarishi. Myself, I am more cosmic, connected to the Arcturian race and the Solarishi race. I'm like a mixed breed, but the information that I get is always proven. Like, I can look it up. Like, when I finally realized that our original beings here was purple and we had a purple sun, I Googled it and found the information. It's like, oh my God, like, how come we didn't know this? Like, I knew that we weren't photosynthesis. That was another generation or regeneration of us with the photosynthesis. And then we came into the planetary human. And I'm going to be doing videos on that as well. This podcast is going to be very expansive. But what does it know? What is it telling you? I've been in readings and where, now I will say this, in a lot of readings I can't hear names. Like, if someone's like, can you call my, I ask them, is that their name? And they'll say yes, and then I have to go into maybe, but if I'm working with a client and say they want me to talk to their mom, okay, so I had a client, I was working with her, and she had me read with the whole family at one point. That was an exhausting reading, and I will never do that again. But I read with the whole family, and she wanted me to bring up her son who had been in a car accident. And I do remember his name because it just popped into my head. I was going to say I forgot his name, but I won't say it. That's another thing too. You can call spirits just by saying their name if you know, you know. So she wanted me to call up her son. And when I called up her son, I could see him. I could see him and tell her exactly what he looked like, what he liked to do, and all these different things. She's like, oh my gosh, that's him. So when I say that to say, sometimes one of your gifts isn't kicking in, another one is kicking in. So it isn't all about, being able to hear the name or feel this or see this, or it's how your gifts and your senses work together to make you a whole reader. And that's how you really discern a spirit, or how you vet a spirit. So I hope that wasn't too complicated. I hope I can, and I forget the person that asked the question. But thank you so much for commenting and for asking the question, because that's what I love about this platform, is that I can go in and see what you guys are thinking, and pick out and say, okay, this is a good question. I want to answer this question. And like I said, I didn't want to do a whole podcast about it, but then when I thought about it, I said, but it's going to be hard to comment all of this, so let me just do the podcast about it. So yeah, so I hope that answered that question. How do you vet a spirit? Does it resonate with you? How do you feel? Does it make sense that it's there? What is it saying to you? What's the nature of its being? Is it angry? Is it evil? Is it happy? Is it sad? Does it have an agenda? What's its name? Is it going to give its name? How does it speak? Does it have a cadence? Does it leave out information, give information? And what does it know, and what is it trying to tell you? What is the information? Can it be proven, not proven? Is it good information, bad information? And there you go. All right, you guys have a great day, and I will see you on our next podcast, which will hopefully just be the weekly podcast. But if you have a question or anything, make sure you leave it in the comments. And if I can't just do a quick comment as far as, a message on it or comment on it, I may do a podcast, especially if I think it's something that can benefit everyone. So you guys have a great day. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Have a great one.